Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Norwegian series here on the Lord Master channel, in which back then I have said that I wouldn't update this version of the game, but I've been gone for so long, which the last time I've recorded an episode was episode 21, and that was back on December 6th. And now this day of recording is January 24th, so I felt it was long overdue for me to come back here after a long absence. In which I'll explain why did I go away for so long, which is due to a number of reasons. But the main reason was that I was burnt out. You know, making all kinds of videos for my YouTube channel, especially in this series, that I was quite exhausted. And so I decided to take a break throughout most of December. And so basically I focused more on my personal life, getting into things I'm interested in different mediums, be it watching TV, movies, writing stuff. Again, nothing too, concerning that would be relevant to this video series here on the Lord Master channel, the Sognsdal Saga. And also at the beginning of the new year of 2023, I had COVID. Yes, Lord Master had COVID, which started from January 2nd and lasted it to January 14th, which obviously, as I'm here and speaking to you, that I've recovered since. And so that kind of delayed my return, which I was supposed to return around that time, and then got ill. Well, I think ill would be a little understatement. I mean, it was a mild illness, as we would say in Crusader Kings 2 standards. It's like, oh no, you got the, whatever, insert name disease here. And it's just, okay, is it normal? Is it mild? Is it severe? Or is it so bad that it makes you bedridden and make you incapable? Oh, and speaking of sickness, the man on the center there, the current ruler, who is Courtiers Thorunson, as you can see why he looks pale, because at that time where we left off on this series, he's currently suffering with consumption, tuberculosis, the modern term. So I'm playing as a sickly ruler, but however, he does have health benefits that would help him to continue his reign as the elder statesman of Norway and Sweden. And obviously well, let's just get to the game so I can explain more on the way. And also I've added a couple of new mods and removed one mod for this new version of this series, which is going to be that way from episode 22 onwards. Not to mention an update on the rice mod. So here we are. This is the Great Kingdom of Norway, which also controls Sweden and parts of Sapmi, or Lapland in Scandinavian terms. And we do hold parts of Northumbria, a little bit of Scotland, and this part there, and Cornwall. We do have a presence in those lands. Oh, and a little bit of Denmark as well, which Denmark will be of great importance to us for this episode, which we'll explain more in a moment. And of course, we can't forget, there's no such thing as the Byzantine Empire anymore, or Eastern Roman Empire, or the Roman Empire. It's not there anymore. It's been dissolved. And the reason for that is, well, Veliko-Moravska, Great Moravia, is responsible. Yeah. The Empress who held that, and then, so in fact, go back. And by the way, yes, Toge, he's got consumption. Reactive bloody cough caused by cold humors in the lungs. Toge suffers from the consumption. But he's feeling fine. He's athletic and Herculean, and reduces disease symptoms thanks to the court physician of his. Now, go back to the Empress for the title history. So that's what happened. It was installed by faction demand, and then there's this man, Igor Grigorich, which he is Croatian as part of House Bela Hrvatskić, White Croats, basically. So he has inherited Roma, and then he later destroyed that title a couple of decades ago. And no Byzantine Empire means no Varangian Guard, and we can't send my dynasty to the Varangian Guard to get some benefits, which is a real shame. Damn shame. But I'm not going to take it out on them. There's bigger goals in mind that I have. Before we talk about that, I mentioned about the new mods. The one mod I removed is the Silk Road mod, because it's, I did some test runs before we start recording here. As in, I play a little bit of this just to see how it runs in about a year's time or so. The Silk Road mod, despite the fact that it's Silk Road plus European Tradeways to be more specific. And it was causing issues if you let the game run for about a couple of months or so. And sometimes it crashes when you try to start the game, so I had to remove that. Which isn't that big of a deal, since it's all, down there, and the European Tradeways isn't that much big of a deal either, especially that most of our income comes through raiding and all that. Sometimes whales and walruses. And the new mods that I've added for this series, which you'll also see at the description of this video, here's the mods that I've added for the following. Regency and ruler training. Yes, I said the words Regency, which, let me see, where you can appoint the designated regent. Yeah, here it is. Designated regents, even though they don't have the description ready for that court position, which says if you die and your heir is a child, your designated regent will be an option to serve as regent, which is necessary if your successor happens to be a child, but since we do elective around here, that will not be the case, as this is my successor, well, future successor, my heir, even though he's a bit of a drunk, but who are we to question him? He's got the skills, especially one that's of either chivalry or strategy. Now the other mods I've also added is Snowfall Visual Effect, where when it's winter time, which is not right now because it's March and you don't see any snow falling in about unless you're up in the high mountains. Not even up in Siberia. I mean, all the winter has gone away. Yeah, pretty much as I. So we'll just have to wait till the next winter just to show you the. Just assume that you'll see snow falling on the map in the when there's winter, which I just want to add that visual effect because, since this is the Old Norse series, and then I thought, well, it would be appropriate to see some snowfall during winter time instead of just seeing snow on the ground. I would like to see snow fall, Also, one of the pivotal mods I've been using is Taberna in Attributes Overhaul. And you may have noticed that some characters, like, we're going to use this one for example, of why they start off with negative piety and sometimes negative prestige unless you have a higher level of splendor, where a child is born and gets the starting prestige up. Well, I found a mod which was later added by another guy, which is Taberna Prestige plus Piety Fix, which will fix that issue. So people, even if they have low learning skill, which was the reason why, for people who have low learning skill, they would earn less piety, negative, but drop in piety, and that's what's causing the negative amount of piety that the character starts with. Well, we want to fix that. So that way, in case if you were to play as a character that starts with negative prestige and piety. And the two mods that I've added is Better Executions Updated and Better Executions Updated add-on events. When we say better executions, I mean I got a lot of prisoners. Which means, for example, if I were to execute this person, they added more execution methods, such as garrote, burn them alive, or sacrifice. I mean, that's too much trouble. What about an adult person? Well, it's still the same. Which again, I recall from the last episode that we had a couple of important prisoners that I decided to keep them house arrest because of inheritance. And when they grew up, we'll recruit them and be sure to marry them off to my kin. And then one day, we'll send away my kin to India. Just to help up to increase our renown. What's your name? So, exclude them from mass actions. For those under house arrest, exclude them. I was about to say, you've been here for 10 years, and yes, I mean, we got you before. Is the heir of... Give me a moment. It disappeared. It said it was there, but now it doesn't say. Huh, the hell. Anyways, keep looking down. Also exclude him. The real question is, do you even stand to inherit anything? No. I think we kind of give away most of the important prisoners, but the only exception is this one, who is stand to inherit. Oh, they run on equal. Okay. That's fine. It's like, well, this one's gonna have the lion's share of land, but at least some will be saved. And if anybody wishes to have a ransom, they can get it. I mean, I got so much more to talk about, but we'll soon get this game rolling. But first, let's rest a year before we take action of whatever that's required. In fact, let me slow the game speed down a little so I can have a little more control before we get it back up to normal speed. Ah, yeah, I remember now. Do you recall, I'm asking you viewers, that we had this line of buildings where we were building these burial mounds. Well, in that update, we just had to remove them. Oh, what the heck? How could you screw that up? Do we have a seneschal? Unless it would have said that. Seneschal. Yeah, we do. Oh, never mind. That'll be rectified. This is just part of developing, you know, all the lands that I personally control. As I have my reasons. Anyways, keep going. Yeah, we had these on buildings, so that's been replaced now. And very soon we will get city planning, which will give us the ability to build cities and temples. That's of course if we were feudal. We're barely going for that. Yeah, it wasn't important enough to me. Well, where were we? Oh, yes. That Viking art thing. Like for those, this is from that mod, Medieval Arts, which I've been using that since the beginning of this series. And, doesn't stand to inherit anything. So, yeah. You can have it. Time disappears in Frigg's weavery, drinking wine as we excitedly discuss the tapestry she's weaving for me. Am I imagining things, or is there indescribable tension? Hours growing late when my room puts down her shallow. Takes a deep quaff from a goblet and smiles at knowing is she, I can't deny it. Something stirs in me. My heart quickens and I find myself holding her my arms. She embraces me in return. What is happening? Oh, no. You do not want to get my... You don't want to get the consumption. You don't want to have that. Stay away from me. So I'll just say, no, I can't tempt her into adultery. Plus, I'm sick. Get out of here. Anyways, Viking art. Yes. That version of this has been changed. The mod, the Medieval Arts, has been changed, which is the reason why I've been gone for so long, that this whole game, including some of its mods, that has been updated since, warrants a new, well, basically a new version of this ongoing series with these updated mods and such. I grew gaunt, and coughed, and bled. I thought I would waste away to nothing. It certainly felt that way when I could barely climb out of bed. Yet, my health and strength recovered, if ever so slowly. Finally, I'm ready to face the world and all its challenges. Time to conquer the world. Yes, the world. Well, certain parts of the world, but not all. Because I do have a new major goal in mind, which I will reveal later on this episode, while I'm continuing to explain what's changed. Now, Viking art. Now here's what's changed. You can build longhouse and white stone. This art style is the part of the pagan aesthetic. So a longhouse, a complex, long, narrow, single-room building that will function both as a fortress to defend the area and a residence for the local ruler and his entourage. A white stone is a great white stone in the middle of a green pasture, covered in painted reliefs of scenes invoking fertility from the gods or the community. I had some free time, so I stood outside, gazing at the clouds and trying to see if I could make out any shapes in them. That cloud looks like something. It's nice, though. Just want to get rid of that stress a bit. Oh, I forgot that I'm seducing this woman. The celebrations come to an end in the evenings and it seems to be over when Dhruva Devi suggests a reading. A clerkson arrives wondering what the guests would like to hear. I see my chance to impress Dhruva Devi. You are a bold fool. Bold. So, I'm unsure, but I'll say, let's be entertained. Travels to Byzantium. This clerk reads to us. Joe sees completely engrossed. She later approached me. Good choice, Togia, she says and runs her hand through her hair. It was great, wasn't it? Almost guaranteed to lay over anyway. Anyways. It's been over 20 years now since we became Norwegians. Evolved, diverged out of the Old Norse culture. And this is what brings these buildings into mind. I mean, the longhouse thing is distinct from that, but here, this is the Hof, a religious building constructed for the gods following pagan aesthetic ideas stemming from the local traditions of Scandinavia. And this is the benefits it gives you. So replacing burial mounds is this great white stone, but we cannot construct it yet because we don't have the crop rotation innovation, which is something that we are currently exposed to. In here, my lord, my sister-in-law gestures to the door of a weavery, where she's been toiling for months on my commission. Stepping in through the doorway, I gasp as I gaze upon the work hanging in front of me. A large linen tapestry of masterful craftsmanship, a cloth to fix a rich banquet at the court of Nogatoge. Notable guests sit at the rich tables while entertainers played music and dance. Well, that's lovely, even though... Again, I would like to have these line of buildings. Crop rotation. Palisade Temple, which is this one. Manorialism, that is an early medieval. And of course, it goes further on and on and on till all the way to Cranes, which is late medieval. Well, it's winter now, so you should start seeing snow fall. See, here it is. Part of the snowfall effect mod. But we should see the winter spread a little bit more to, you know, all over the place in different areas. I'll be back in a moment. Oh yeah, that always happens. Vassals of mine fighting each other. I got so many artifacts, I have no idea what to do with them. Including the ones that are on display. One of these days we gotta get out of that tribal government. There's two ways of doing that. See? Snow everywhere. Oh. You want, huh? You got it. Plus I'm about to seduce her. As the shadows lengthen as I find through the Devi in the darkness beneath the castle wall, waiting for me. She comes towards me, hesitantly at first, and I eagerly hear her breath quicken as I pull her close. In the shade of a wall, we make love. Guards patrolling above, oblivious to our passion. I mean, she's one of my concubines, so it's fine. But I have no need for lovers. Even though I did have a best friend who died. When was this again? It's been a long time since I've last recorded a video of this. Oh, way back in 966. Experienced the pain of losing my best friend, Oda Kanuta Astridson, who died of old age. That was my uncle. That was long ago. It's just part of the reason why I've been prone to stress lately. After taking a castle, I withdraw. Thank you. I mean, it would be more encouraging to have more children at this time. Ah, yes, Greenland. That reminds me. We're trying to go for subsistence instead of marginalization. But it appears that the latest catalyst progress, as you can see down there, has been more towards marginalization. Including that one that happened way earlier, that there were failed expeditions in the past. And that Vinland outposts that are abandoned, that was me. We did that on a previous episode where we did have an outpost in Vinland build, but it caused a big penalty drop in Vinland's viability. In which next time, in fact each and every time that we would go out on these expeditions to there, we need to go to Vinland and Vinland only. And also, due to the recent updates of the rice mod, northern parts of Denmark have been added as part of the colonization of Greenland struggle. Yes. Failed to exile someone to Greenland. Oh, yes! That's another thing that they've added that relates to the Greenland struggle. You can now send courtiers to Greenland. But is it possible, like, say, you there? I mean, I don't think it's been added yet. Yep, there it is. Exile to the west. Here's a new alternative of what are we going to do with these prisoners that are still in dungeons. If instead of letting them rot and die or execute them by different means, how about we're going to send you off to Greenland? But I would be spending money for them to send them to the trip. Might not be spending prestige, but you can either send them to Eastern Settlement, which Greenland's networks increases by random between the amount of 3 and 10, or send them to the West Settlement, which will increase its resilience. Yeah, I know where you're going. So we're going to do that to most of them. But mind you, I have a lot of prestige, which is nothing to worry about. I got plenty of money as well. So send it to us. But 40% chance of acceptance. But be careful not to do that all the time. So we may want to have to rethink that and say, okay, what about you? Honor and stupid. Okay, anybody else? Cannot because married and honor. And also it would be a good way to get rid of useless courtiers that you don't really need to have them around in your court. But doing that to prisoners just lowers the chance, so I think we need to find individuals that are more willing. Lazy. Okay. What about you? No chance. Okay, maybe doing that to prisoners is a bad idea, so let's just look at courtiers, for example. Those who are not assigned to anything. That's the question. Unless it's someone that I don't like in particular. Like this man. What the hell is he doing here? He's low skilled. Could send him to the west, but no chance. He's craven and he's bold. I guess the thing about it is, most people will just say no to that option. Well, there's somebody who's willing. Oh, here's an idea. Okay, look, I'm just gonna do this for once, okay? That's a pace 7. It's like, okay, now how would you like to go to the west? Because, you know, his opinion towards me is very high, and he's an honorable man. So, off you go. To the charming Tokyo. After some deliberation, I decided to heed your request. You know, it's not an easy choice to make. I'll now settle in a western settlement agreement as you wish. I thank you for this opportunity, and I'll do my best to contribute to the settlement there. I wish his the best. Oh! Increases the resilience by 24. So active sent to go to. So there. That helps towards the subsistence. But again, be careful when you do that too much. But is it? But again, I just want to know. Is it, oh no, you can do it as much as you like. It's a stupid idea, but just say, hey, what if you would comply? And we'll just send you on the way. You'll have your wish. I have little choice but to go into exile with West Settlement Agreement. At least I'm a free woman once more, even if the circumstances aren't ideal. From this day forward, you'll never see her home again. Yeah. There you go. At least when I send gifts, I don't have to spend too much because... Well, where the heck is that? That Dynasty Legacy. Ah, here it is. This one. Minus 50 the cost of send gift. Makes it easier. That was my intent all along. Again, just want to send it as an example. Now, is there anything else I'm missing? We mentioned about the pagan aesthetic tradition. You can change that if you wish. It says you have a cultural acceptance of at least 30 with the culture of the neighboring ruler that adheres to a different aesthetic tradition than yours. Looking at you, Anglo-Saxons. So basically, you want to switch the aesthetic to another country's aesthetic, another culture's aesthetic, basically. From, you know, Scandinavian to English, basically. And also there's a new decision which was added for the Mordvin update of Rice, which is the regional immersion and cultural enrichment mod, which is an integral part of this series and is the reason why we're here in the first place. Which that new decision that was added is to perform a horse sacrifice. For as long as anyone can remember, it's been a custom among the faithful to sacrifice horses to our ancestors and the gods, which you will sacrifice a horse, potentially earning you various boons like piety, prestige, beneficial character modifiers, depending on how many you are willing to sacrifice. For historical context, horse sacrifices were common religious rituals in various parts of Eurasia, among the peoples as diverse as the Norse to the Mongols and Mordvins. They were commonly interred with the dead in these societies. In the medieval and early modern periods, the practice declined with the spread of various organized faiths like the Abrahamic religions and Buddhism. So, to perform a horse sacrifice, you gotta be either a Tengrist, or Norse faith, or Uralic, and the missing 3 are those. Again, it's not in this series, but it is in any new playthrough that I would do in the future. Uralic would be some minutes ago. Also, wrong one. It's these areas around there. That's where they're allowed to perform a horse sacrifice. And you could do a horse sacrifice as a Tengrist. And of the Orlog faith, but they're talking about that one in particular. I mean, it's not on the map because of obviously different version. My friend just died, and I've been getting stressed again. My mother frets all through the day, evidently attempted to find the right words. At last, as we make our way to dine, he begins. She was my host. I hear rumors that Kedem Nitrotin of Rafala has come to see her as focus was empty. He talks openly of the illegitimate Sveverki, who daily usurps rightful lands and revenues. I shall write to him at once. There's no need to become rivals here. Just calm down, will you? Now, the horse sacrifice. We're going to do this here as a demonstration of what this decision will do. You can hold a minor sacrifice where you sacrifice a few horses. It'll cost you 50 and gain between 0 and 50 piety and prestige, and gain a beneficial carried amount of a random minor effect. Child of Concubine. Name it after me. No, don't do that. That's a bit disrespectful. A child of concubine says, hey, you're named after the king, but you are a concubine. Steiner. That'll do. A major sacrifice, which costs 100, but you gain between 25 to 100 prestige and piety. And may gain a minor or major effect. City planning's been discovered. I'll show you the great sacrifice, which of course I will do that because I got a lot of money to spend. No, you cannot build new holdings because you're still tribal. You have to be feudal for that. Go for crop rotation, so we can unlock all tribal era economic buildings, or late antiquity in these terms. That's what I would want next. Economic buildings, something to spend my money on. And speaking of spending the money on, now let us perform the horse sacrifice, which shall be a great sacrifice. We'll sacrifice many horses. You'll gain 50 to 200 in between piety and prestige, which I may get a minor, a major, or great effect. So find suitable horses to sacrifice. Preparing for the horse sacrifice. For as long as anyone can remember, the sacrifice of horses has been an important religious practice among the Enja in order to honor the gods. I've ordered for one such great horse sacrifice to be held in Trondheim. The local Hofgoda are already doing the preparations needed for the ceremony. It is my hope that the gods will be pleased by the sacrifice and bestow upon me and my realm with many great blessings. Time to prepare for the sacrifice. 150 gold that is to be spent for here. Why the hell not? The day of the horse sacrifice has come. I have arrived at the temple where a number of Hofgoda have gathered. They have prepared an altar where the horses are to be sacrificed in ceremony. The horses are led forth to the altar, where are duly killed by the Hofgara. As this is going on, we all pray to the gods and perform various rituals. Once the ceremony is done, we thank the Hofgara for helping us with such an important ceremony, and hopefully the gods took notice of our sacrifice. I'm glad to participate in this, and what we got here is 108 piety and 182 prestige. Again, this is a random amount, especially when you hold such a scale. And now I've gained a minor material boon from it, which is plus 2 monthly income, plus 3 personal scheme power, and building construction costs reduced up quite a bit. Now imagine a major and great material boons from that, for what it would be looking like. You need to get married at this point of your age. Actually, there is someone that you will marry. Even though you're going to have to wait a few more years for this. Talking about her who's in the house arrest. So give it 3 years, and my son will marry to her. And children will inherit one of these lands, and then we got it. I think the viability may have dropped, which is going to be difficult to get it up, because if you want to get it back up, you've got to keep sending expeditions to the west of Innan. And oh, they also added that little UI thing, where you could see the meter of the resilience and the networks. But the viability is what needs to be going up, as this is the only way to do so. If you consider a very good explorer that is widely skilled and can do it all to make things happen. Because in that last episode, we tried to, where's that option? Attempt to build an outpost there, which we did it when we had 20% some odd chance, and we actually did it. And then sustaining it, it didn't. But perhaps we should have heeded that warning, which has not been resolved again. So even if you succeeded establishing a permanent outpost there's a chance that it will fail every year based on its viability. That was my bad on my part. We screwed up big time. Never do that again. So, headsman, I experience a moment of serene and perfect clarity. Life is just a joke, huh? Okay. Reference. You may be caught by the also brooding ogre. The unprovoked anger expressed by my concubine Dova comes complete surprise. She's been under a lot of stress lately, but when asked to explain herself, she'll only double down on the insults. I'll give as good as I get, fool. This Sami woman who's irritable and a lunatic decides to take it out on me. She lashed down in frustration in front of me. She'll get over herself. Oh, what? Oh yeah, that sword, that's why. Wants to forge a hammer. You go right ahead. I may have to give that to my son. I had something else in mind. we can hold a grand sacrifice again, but there's no need for that yet. Earlier I mentioned the rice mod of its recent update, such as Mordvinia and a bit of the sugar and some of the decisions you could do. From Scotland, they sent a shipment of materials to Greenland. Good job. Keep it up. We need to keep it going more towards subsistence. Mordvinia isn't the only area that got a flavor pack on recently. Another area was down there in Khuzestan. The Merit of Khuzestan, which was the focus of that area. Fitel. Another son. Even though obviously it's a very Muslim area and very Persian. But anyways, it's just they did add a flavor pack on Khuzestan, which I will describe you what that is, even though the land is full of Muslims and Persians and the like. And not going to go to no invitation. I'm in the middle of an explanation here. Yeah, Khuzestan flavor pack. Land of the sugarcane, it's called. In which, as the description reads, the fertile plains and the hills of Khuzestan was once the breadbasket of old empires. Like that of Elam, the Achaemenids and the Sassanids, it is furthermore a diverse land, populated by Arabs, Iranians, and Turks, obviously for the later start date, as well as the off-scorned Kuzid people, which that culture is not there because this is still of the old playthrough that we're on here. So yes, the off-scorned Kuzid people who are speculated to have spoken the final remnant of the ancient Elamite language. This is no desert wasteland, but a crossroads of the Middle East civilizations. So yeah, they have the Kuzid culture, which again I can describe it to you as I'm using the other computer monitor next to me. But again, they typically live in the Khuzestan region. Yeah, with the Kuzid culture, which their traditions that they have is mountain homes, dryland dwellers, loyal subjects, and faithful of Kuz, which is its own cultural tradition. Oh, what's going on? Love's express cries spoiler Quamon. How am I to go about forging a hammer when my tongues keep going missing? He rushes over me. My lord, every time I make a bit of progress, it seems something goes wrong. I'm certain if someone at court's tamper my work. The weapons of Huff's frustrated storms out back to his smithy. What an amateur. People of Kuz. Which, what that is, it says, hold on, I'm trying to bring it up here. Again, I know you can't see it here as much as I'm just only going to read it out loud to you. The people of the Kuz cultural tradition, where for the Kuzi culture that lives in Khuzestan, that this culture and all cultures descended from it, whether they have this tradition or not, automatically get the lowly manual's innovation, which has several negative effects like reduced domain limit, diplomacy, and prestige. It is only removed if the decision to elevate the Kuzi community is taken. And all of its characters have +1 intrigue and +10 for the learn language scheme power. And it's kind of odd for me to explain you all this. And my cousin just got killed. Murder holes and priest holes. Paladin individual who looks as if she spent her entire life skulking underground is lurking in the corner of my throne room. I've heard to tell you want a secret passage so I can craft any impure corridor your twist heart desires. I know I got a rival currently. A series of spying holes for my courtiers gathered, please. That's what I would desire. and some of the other features in that Kazakhstan flavor pack. I mean, I'll tell you another one in a moment. I'm just giving you a few examples. I mean, I don't want to give out too much detail, otherwise I may convince myself doing that feature series. Even though I do have a future series planned in mind, but I'm adopting a wait-and-see attitude for future updates for this mod, the rice mod. Of one of the other notable parts of the update of the Kazakhstan flavor pack involves one of those religions that's around there locally, the Mandaeans, which in fact I can show it to you. Forgot the faiths, other faiths. Mandaean. Look for Mandaean. It's a dualist faith. There it is, Mandaeanism. So, this is Mandaeanism, which is pacifism, esotericism, Christian syncretism. A weakness that has plagued my daughter since her birth has finally released its hold on her. Relief washes over me as I see Melkoka running around with all the other children. May you grow strong, Melkoka. No longer sickly. So it's a fundamentalist faith, but that's kinda, you know, little, but they made some changes to the Mandaean religion for Mandaeanism, which what they are exactly, like who are they? Mandaeanism traces its lineage to Adam, with John the Baptist as their greatest prophet. The world consists of light and darkness, and in time all mortal souls will be judged as to whether they are worthy to return to the eternal light. And here's the Warhammer of fine craftsmanship. The wrought iron head is mounted on an elegant elm shaft that's been carved in slight grooves so one would hold it for a comfortable grip. Give this to my son, which I'll do that in just a moment. Let me continue on Mandaeanism here. Obviously it's, I mean, we know in this version, the vanilla, it's pacifism, esotericism, and Christian syncretism. Hold the cord a little later, and okay, what else? I'm trying to explain to the viewers what is that? Yeah, Forge Regalia. Which I do not have Regalia, so it's about damn time. Now, Mandaeanism. Those are the three tenets you see there. Well, in Rice, they changed that a bit. So they replaced Christian syncretism with communal identity. And they also added, you know, like you see the main doctrine part. Oh, it says, I mean, that's sort of, what would I like to have? Regalia. To command respect from my underlings. That sounds like a Norse thing to do. May gain a dread or a tyranny modifier. Anyways, the main doctrines that you see down there, and by the no near tissues in the realm have been killing me up lately. This work feels endless. Yet another steps forward, evidently distressed merchant. Okay. Yes, mercy, not another one. Merchant gulps at me, blinking right, bleeding shock. Was it something I said? I'm going for a ride now. Yes, male-dominated, fundamentalist, theocratic, missionaries encouraged as part of the missionaries mod. Obviously, they view us as evil, and we view them as evil. The main doctrines part, they added one thing for the Mandaean faith, including all the other dualist religions, most notably Manichaeanism. So, the main doctrine, I know you do not see on the screen, but they added baptism as purification. Yes, it's just a little unique thing that's for dualist faiths. Baptism as purification, which you can take the decision to undergo a ritual baptism, because that's something that the Mandaeans did and still do today, which in fact Mandaeanism is the only living Gnostic or dualist religion still around today. And so they would do that. The baptism as purification, that's for Mandaeans, Sethians, and Valentinians have that by default. For the Manichaeans and the Priscillians, they have food as purification. And for Cainites and Sabians, they have prayer as purification. They all have their different benefits, which I'll explain that again one more time. Yeah, whatever you need. So again, you can, if you're playing as a Mandaean, or the other aforementioned dualist faiths, you can have the decision to undergo ritual baptism. But if you're a Manichaean, for example, passive boost to health and disease resistance, that's for food as purification. And prayer as purification, that's passive boost to piety. Ah, yes. Matrilineally betrothed. As ordered. Even though he is a son at court, so we can honor that. Made it official. Even though he's here at court, not an heir to any title. That's another reason why you cannot send these people away. Insightful thinker. So I was thinking, do you think he should be the one to marry the little Indian girl that's still in house arrest instead? And have him marry someone else that would have inheritable traits that would be good? I think we should. The Indian can have the younger brother. Look for the one with... Aha! Genius! But however, a Prussian of a hostile Baltic faith. I don't have to do, because I like to see more geniuses circulating around here. Now, the other flavor pack is in Coazim, that region up there. That's the other flavor pack, the what it's called. It's called Coazim flavor pack, the Oxus Borderlands, which is for that region only. Thank you very much. Yeah. And again, this whole episode is basically just explaining you some of the new details before. Oh, now they call me the Raider King. Tolgir the Raider King. Compare that to Thorun Strongarm or Astrid the Great. Yes, Tolgir the Raider King. Even though that's due to having the Reaver trait, not, actually have the Viking trait, as I haven't done much raiding anyhow. This is ridiculous. As a keeper of this crystal collection, I have a responsibility to ensure the quality of your work. You'll see once it's finished. Katrina retorts, you should leave a woman to her work. She's forging regalia fit for royalty. Then it will ensure its quality. Damn it! Lower quality. Now, Corazon. The Oxus Borderlands, which adds a couple of things that's related to that region, which I don't think it's the case here. No, doesn't have any of those relevant modifiers. That would have to be at the new game, but I can tell you a few things about it over there. And also applies to, obviously Zoroastrianism doesn't exist here except for the isolated part out there. And there. By their very nature, Tang meets can often be extremely boring. If tempers don't flare, then no one gets dramatic, then it's just a long list of low-ranking freemen discussing petty affairs and staying out of the rain. Yet, as the opponent, I am required to be here, growing older every second, watching the men of Segnavoke talk each other to death. wishing for a war to save me for this living hell. I could be doing such useful things to time. Astrid used to have daydreams about war. Now, I'm daydreaming about state. As this character spent a significant time mentally planning diplomatic policy in the name of realm stability. You all have the same martial skill. Well, I'll give you this. Now, anyways, where were we? Coesa, right. So, I'll just read the description. Coesa Flavor Pack, the Oxus Borderlands. Since time immemorial, the Oxus River, also known as by its modern name or native name, the Almudaria, a great massacre. Not the normal kind. My goodness, that's Hami land. Yeah, the Almudaria, this is what it's applied there. Not the whole river, just the lower Oxus region, which refers to Coesum as a whole. Learning per level devotion is always good. Now, continue. Since time immemorial, the Oxus River has traditionally demarcated the frontier between Iran and the steppes. Now you can traverse up and down the so-called Mad River and gaze upon the land of ancient faiths, ancient citadels, and ancient learning. Yes. So, what they have in store in that flavor pack for Coesum, if I ever do a future playthrough over in that region, but I would rather wait for the Sogdian one, which will probably come till like either the end of this year or the next one. That'll probably be when I will actually do a Zoroastrian playthrough set in Transoxiana. Oh, we can do all of this now. It's about damn time that we commission an epic. I'm willing to spend big money on, because I want renown. Get Vinland back up. Try to get its viability up. Because it's down at 11 and we need to get it up as high so that way the next time we establish an outpost will probably be 200 years from now. Prepare for the journey. I'm looking at each and every one of your skills, even if some of you have explored before. But quite honestly, I need to think this over before I decide. It has to be someone with the sum of all skills. And I guess you are qualified for it. Yeah. You're gonna have to do. Organize a hunting trip to Mutsuta. It'll be a great hunt. Obvious is obvious, as you people have seen the description before. And sponsor a whale hunt, because why the hell not? And I believe that since the mod has updated, that in that description says, it's like, okay, you got your gold, but what about prestige? You're supposed to earn prestige from this. Well, now you can earn prestige. Magnificent weapon. You are now making a dagger. Hold on a minute. Oh, I thought I was about to sneeze. My family epic seems to be progressing well, and some lines already sound like they'll be quoted for decades to come. But Goodwin has a lot of questions about the focus of the story. It would be easy to answer if he wrote it all first, then I could tell him what I dislike about it. But he insists that he needs answers now. My next attempt is to go for decentralized rule, just to finish up the adventure dynasty legacy of this part, so that way I could befriend vassals, so that way future rulers can have that for good use. And each of your friends' relations gives you 3 vassal opinion, 2 popular opinion, and plus 1 vassal tax contribution. For up to 5 friends, of course. And I did add a new Dynasty Legacy from the Medieval Arts mod. Patronage. Beauty and power are one and the same. Stone and marble, which unlocks the Embellish the City decision chain. Isn't that on the... No, it doesn't say. So this is actually entirely new from this mod. So it makes me curious. Mausoleum branch of the Embellish the City decision chain. Gain 250 renown when completing a secular building in an embellished city. Well, the Grand Temple branch of embellished city chain. Grand School branch of embellished city. Send your antiquarian to a famed city. I think I have an idea. All the more reasons why in the future of this series, Norway's got to be feudalized at some point. So that way we can have cities, so we can embellish the city, so we can unlock all these great benefits. Which is going to be all new, all original to me. So you could say, yes, we in our dynasty we're an adventurous bunch, but we're also taking you out of patronage. So go for this one. Whalers have returned. They sent out returned. Thankfully, these whalers successfully hunted down some whales. Once we contact nearby merchants, we can sell the meat as well as blubber for oil and ship them to ports elsewhere. Anyways, I congratulate the whalers on the job well done. I says how much profit we'll make from their kills. The whalers managed to kill a large number of whales. In fact, it was one of the best hunting trips among all the whalers in a long time. We know they paid back their costs altered, but we made a great profit. I'm most impressed with the team of whalers, and I look forward to potentially working with them again in the future. 193 gold. Excellent. But you didn't get any prestige. I thought they fixed that issue. Because I want you people to look again. We can support Greenland. You know, later this year we plan on going on a war hunt, so you better go construct these hunting stations over there. It's to help the resilience. You gotta balance things, you know. Look again. If successful, you will gain prestige. Not just gold, prestige. Right, back to Khorasan. I haven't finished talking about Khorasan. Only the Allfather guides me. The Allfather. My regalia is about to be finished, as I will read. Oh, what? I've received word that my ships carrying laborers, supplies meant for the construction of new hunting stations Greenland's west coastline have failed to arrive there. The ships, alas, got caught in a storm and sank out to sea. Unfortunately, it seems my attempts to support Greenland have been in vain. The disaster cost me good sailors and people, and money, as well as my ships and many supplies. I can only lament and wonder what wrongs we've done that would cause the Lord to not protect these ships. What tragedy. Damn. That goes to the marginalization phase. But again, subsistence is in the lead still, as we're halfway there to go towards subsistence. I don't think that's ever happened to me before, where the aid has failed to reach Greenland. Good man, that has. taken a number of liberties in my family epic in regards to warfare and battles. It makes for dramatic scenes, but I worry my Otoge has been offended as he furrows his brow at a particular scene. I'm almost relieved when he finally shares his thoughts. It's all nonsense, but this part with the dragon is giving me some ideas. No, I don't got any. Explain it to me in detail. May never know. Drink. Guards, seize what Osten needs. I'm not spending my money, even though I got a lot, but I'm not in the mood for spending. Plus, my regalia is about to come. And hopefully I get the little tyranny reduction modifier out of this. Oh, let me stretch. Oh, today's the day that the expedition I've organized will set off for Vinland. I come to Trondheim to bid him farewell. This expedition is led none other than Sigyn, who I personally handpicked to be its leader. Hopefully my favorite abilities will be well placed. Sigyn reassures you that the crew is in good spirits, and that they are ready for this great adventure. I can only hope that nothing goes wrong on the trip, and that she and her crew returns with great success, whether that is bountiful treasure, trade opportunities with the locals, new discoveries, or something else. Safe journeys! Let's hope for a big positive outcome. Courtiers! Now, before the regalia gets finished, or no, we'll talk about it as soon as the regalia is finished, because it's all about to be that time. Good timing. An ornate regalia set of very fine craftsmanship. It consists of brass scepter set with pieces of onyx, a linen cloak that's been embroidered with linen thread, and a large onyx cabochon necklace. Hey, a little bit of renown. Romance, scheme power. Every little bit helps. Bears! Messenger bird brings me from Sigurd with an update about our expedition to Vinland. Sigurd reports that she sent a few of her crew members to explore the area. She had hoped they would find something interesting or useful. Regretfully, these scouts had not traveled far when they came across a bear of unfathomably large size. They somehow enraged this beast, slew one of the crew as they all fled back to their boats. Alas, such visits only go to show the dangers what one might find when exploring this region. Everyone knows that bears are not to be trifled with. That can't be good. Not a good start. Now, Courtiers and the Almudia River, or known as the Oxus to Westerners. So they call it the Mad River because, as the description reads, like whenever you hover over one of those negative modifiers in any county of Courtiers. So listening to my family epic is smoking. A lot of it's not very positive, such as part what the dragon tells you. On the other hand, who is to say what the past is like? If you're already doing your best, why not take it as far as we can? It is important that we tell a good story after all. I need more now. So yeah, as that description reads, again, I'm looking at screenshots. I know you can't see it here. The Almudia, or the Oxus, is one of the great rivers of the world. Its fertile banks contribute to the prosperity of the surrounding regions. It is also called the Mad River, for it often shifts its course and overfloods, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly, particularly along the lower Oxus. Locals frequently relocate entire settlements, and foreigners scornfully remark on the filthy conditions of the otherwise prosperous cities due to the flooding. So if you are ruling in Courtiers, you get your holding taxes and development growth up, but however, it's plus 15 for building construction time and building construction costs, so it's a bit more expensive. It takes long too. And now, the Wars Hunt. Every summer, men for the Greenland colony sail to Nordsjø, a region along Greenland's western coast far to the north of Greenland's settlements, where war is off together. This is when most of Greenland's wards are hunted, and thus a crucial source of Greenland's wealth. My family's estate in Greenland has finished gathering men and supplies for one such trip this year. I received word that the crew have just set sail to Nordsetur. Let's hope that they come back with many war's tusks. I pray that they will protect these men. We shall hear from them a little later. Now continue with reading about the Coasmian flavor pack. It Kaf here. This area here. Oh, you said there's still a population of Zoroastrians living there, as a minority. A messenger bird brings me a message from Sigurd, with an update about our expedition event. According to the message, the expedition is going well, except that one time with the bear. Sigurd says the crews just encountered a large number of seals, which they successfully hunted. Among the peoples of the north, seals are commonly used for meat and oil, and this has raised the morale of the crew greatly. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Let's hope for one more good outcome. It seems as if you're listed as parts of my new family effort. Of course, he has discovered discrepancies between the promises made in the past and our current reality. I could tell that he will not let it go into this. Surely you could see how wise a benevolent would be to fulfill your forebear's promise even now. I belong to a long line of promise keepers. I'll be back in a moment for Kaf. Get that all up. Now we return here. That's to explain. Kaf here. In the 867 start date, the county of Kaf and Coasm starts as a special building. The ruins of Alfir Citadel, which provides various military and economic bonuses. According to legend, it was built by the founders of the Ethnicities dynasty in 4th century AD, but was swept away over time by the Oxus River, finally disappearing in 994, according to Al-Biruni, who is that renowned scholar who originates from this land. Oh, drank himself to death. So yeah, this area here is where that special building, the ruins of the Citadel, would have been located. Which, what it would have given would be the 4th level +2 defender advantage, +10 development growth, and a holder of this holding would have also had monthly prestige and monthly renown up, along with cultural fascination progress. Gunman has completed my family epic, and what a glorious song he has composed. That is high drama, moral qualities, tense duels, everything my family has forged from is in there, even the part with the dragon. Seemingly so far-fetched, there's a kind of touching moment outlining the destiny of my house. This might be the greatest song ever written. We're getting there. We're getting there. 2 kings, 1 duke, 2 counts. After all the time you spend in my court, he's all got to know me. That he is not going far. I have many stories yet to tell. It seems it would right I should continue telling them here. You will continue to serve me honorably. As a reminder, the ruins of the Citadel would appear in the 867 start date. In 1066 start date, it doesn't exist anymore. The Oxus River destroyed it. But for the Coasmians, as of this old version, we could say, and before we do that, I received a report from my family's estate in Greenland. A hunting trip we organized in Nordsetur's return with the war siren. The big question is to whether we made a reasonable return on our investment in this endeavor. Anyways, based on the results of the hunt, the hunters we've hired have collected enough forest tusks to sell for 269 gold to various merchants in markets and ports throughout the North Atlantic. Additionally, the reports mentioned something interesting occurred during the hunting trip that I should also be aware of. What else happened? While my hunters were tracking down some walrus, they came across the corpse of a narwhal washed up on the beach. It was a very lucky find, as it was difficult to catch these creatures out in the sea. Due to their rarity, many people are uncertain of these creatures' natures. What is certain is, however, is that their tusks are believed to have magical properties. The narwhal tusk is now in my possession. Perhaps I could keep this spectacular item for myself. On the other hand, I could make quite a bit of money selling it, especially to people from afar who would pay much to acquire such an exotic product. I'll keep it for myself, simply for the sake of it. Now I got 2 narwhal horns. What the heck? And this one's better than the old horn. What the heck? Combine it with the back scratcher, I would be not taking as much stress. That reminds me. Hey, you're 16 years old now. Can recruit you in here. And then, once you are here, you will be betrothed to one of my sons. Excellent. Just to make sure. Yeah. Now, eventually, my dynasty will spread into parts of India. So, Khwarezmian culture. So in vanilla here, they have Fatua, Caravaneers, Dryland Dwellers, and Isolationalists. The messenger bird brings you a message from Sigurd with an update about our expedition to Vinland. Traveling to the edge of the known world is fraught with dangers, but sometimes those dangers are imagined. Sigurd reports an interesting case of this, when she recently sent a few members of the expedition to explore inland. The crew returned in haste, screaming about an ambush from inhuman beings. Sigurd ordered everyone to grab their weapons and prepare for battle, and possibly to evacuate the area if needed. Then they waited, tensely. No attackers ever came. Yet those crew members insist they saw something out there that attacked them. Sigurd believes that they are not deceiving her. So what really happened to them? Did they become insane? Or did they really see something out there? I'm sure there wasn't anything out there, right? But unfortunately, this is to be a bad income, and this is not going to do well for the viability. It might decrease again. It's a damn shame, really. The Khwarezmian traditions. Yeah. As we've mentioned before, the Khwarezmians, in the Rice mod for this recent update, they'll not update it here in this playthrough, but in future playthroughs, that they will have Fatua, Caravaneers, Drowned Dwellers, but they got rid of, well, by they, I mean the mod creator, Sebrix Khan, shout out to you, is your, or the creator of Rice and VIET, if you are watching this, that he got rid of Isolationist and added 2. One is Kala settlements, which Kala settlements is bring it up in a moment, which says if your culture has that tradition, what that does is that it gives you the decision to reinforce Kalas, which is fortresses, which adds a nice modifier for all the Khwarezmian counties, improving their defenses if you expect an attack from someone. Basically, useful during wartime. Because Khwarezmia in history was known for its not only the Mad River, but also a bunch of fortresses, the oasis fortresses that they had at that time. So they would have that modifier. Your first child. A genius. Gunnar. Gunnar. I like that name. And of course, there's that dagger. And unfortunately, I went to meet the Sigan and asked her about the various adventures she had during the expedition. Unsurprisingly, she was much to tell. Unfortunately, it appears the expedition was ultimately a failure. The expedition was beset by a number of calamities. Sigan did, at least, do her best to explore the frontier region to find new resources as well as friendly locals. In the end, we had not acquired any lasting advantages or information that would help the Greenland colony, and that the expedition might have cost the Greenland colony quite a bit in terms of resources and manpower. But hey, that seals that you've hunted, I gained seal meat from the West Atlantic for the next 10 years, so this character, actually, is that for Sigan or me? It says you gain. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, the viability did drop to 1. So anyways, this character recently sponsored an expedition to the West Seas. The expedition did, in the course of their travels, successfully hunted some seals. They preserved their meat to give this character. So alright, seal meat is on the menu, despite the fact that we failed the expedition here. Disappointing, and all we got were seals. Seal meat. Take a drink. That's what I got. Damned dagger. And also that epic book that isn't going to be used because they don't compare to the other books that are currently in use. And for the Coesmian culture, as we continue with them, as I'm not done discussing the flavor pack. So basically this whole episode, this video here is just basically, it's like, hey, let's just keep up with what's new around here before we kind of get serious for the next episode. So, failed to send a courtier. God blast it. But subsistence is going to be the way to go. The other Coesmian tradition is Acta Vinix. What is that? Acta Vinix? It's something that's also very well known in the Coesmian culture back in the day, which the Coesmians were noted for their skills in astronomy, calendry, and mathematics in the early medieval sources. It is no coincidence that several scholars of the Islamic Golden Age were Coesmians, like al-Biruni and al-Khwarizmi, whom the term algorithm is derived from. Aktavinik was the Coesmian term for an astronomer. And for anybody who lives in Coesmia, like if you're playing in that area and you have that as a cultural tradition, all of its characters will have +1 stewardship and learning per level per devotion. Level of devotion. +10 cultural fascination progress. And +5 for monthly stewardship and learning lifestyle experiences. So they're smart people, basically, despite the fact that the region around here is smelly because, you know, the frequent floods and everything. And that's not all, not just Coesmia, but it affects Zoroastrianism as well in that update for the Coesmian flavor pack. Let me bring it up here as I'm looking in the other screen. All Zoroastrian faiths, like Kurmazda for example, now all have the Yazada's doctrine, which I'll tell you that in a second. Her godness has always bothered me, but it recently been getting on my nerves more than ever. I want to get back at her spirit, but what form am I supposed to take? Well, I'm a man of diplomacy, so I should write a witty poem mocking all of her many failings. The witty rhymes and clever innuendo worked into my scathing critique of Dova's character has been going around her court like wildfire. By her court, you mean my court! Try as she might, she cannot suppress their spread, which only adds to her embarrassment. Maybe this will finally put her in her place. Now, Kurmazdism, which is also known to some as Sogdian Zoroastrianism. We're using that as an example here. So now all Zoroastrian faiths have the Yazadas doctrine. It's very loosely inspired by the Pantheon mechanic from Elder Kings 2, which is a overhaul mod that's for the Elder Scrolls. Even though it's nowhere as near as complex or deep as the Elder Kings 2's system. And obviously it would be listed under the main doctrines, but you cannot see it here as, again, this is the old playthrough here, not the new one, where you would see its new effects and all that for the all aforementioned flavor packs here. So, just to try to explain to you, which I may have to explain again in a future Zoroastrian playthrough that I may do far in the future. In Zoroastrianism, Yazadas are gods in the polytheistic context, angels or emanations of the supreme god in a monotheistic context. The historical evolution of Zoroastrianism from polytheism to monotheism is a contentious and complex topic, so the mod creator opted for a neutral interpretation here. So what they would have here is, give me a moment. I like to be the scholar before my life ends. Now, there are 5 Yazada doctrines, as I will bring up the other faiths of Zoroastrianism here. There are 5 Yazada doctrines. Most Zoroastrian faiths have the Socinian Yazadas, which they have it by default. The Bactro-Sogdian Yazadas, that's for Kurmazda only. The Armenian Yazadas, only the Arwurdik have that by default. And Magjusian if you're playing with the Fallen Eagle overhaul mod. And the Georgian Yazadas, which no faiths have it here in this current playthrough, except the Armaz if playing in the Fallen Eagle timeline again. And whereas for Beha Faridism, they do not have the Yazadas doctrine. They don't have that. And no, I'm not going to no feast. I'll start going to them in a future episode, whenever it is the next episode. And I obviously we're looking at Kurmazda here. They did actually change one of its tenets. As you can see here, it has adaptive esotericism and sky burials. So in the recent update of the Rice mod relating to this, although not in this playthrough, but for future playthroughs here, esotericism has been replaced with ancestor worship. Which of course they allow you to give the decision to worship the ancestors and all that for, you know, free piety, prestige, and renown gain. That's what they have. Although they already have that for Tengrism, for example. And that's not all regarding, again, Zoroastrianism. Including those people there. Showing them again, as they're still out there. You can take decisions related to the Yazadas, such as the worship of them, which you can just pick any, you know, Yazada, basically a patron deity, kind of like us with the Norse here, with choose your patron deity, to give you whatever bonus is, you know, required for your character. You'll gain a modifier for 10 years, based on the Yazada you choose, rather than a permanent one. So think of it as a temporary version of patron deity mechanic. And every Yazada doctrine has its own different set of Yazadas. And for the, as you can see, Mazda Yasna here, which is the Orthodox Zoroastrianism, they're the ones that are allowed to have the ability to, we'll actually give that a moment. The other doctrines, again, the Bactro-Sogdian Yazada, for example, they're the ones that are allowed to establish a local cult center, which just gives a special county modifier, which grants a boost of control and development. The real purpose of that modifier is that if you and your vassals own a county with a cult center for a certain Yazada, you get the prestige and a powerful version of the modifier that follows the Socinian doctrine, even you don't have to pay extra for it. But for the aforementioned Mazda Yasna, they are allowed to have a decision to destroy the local cult centers And it's also for those if you are not a Zoroastrian faith. Like the Norse here. Yeah, like if we happen to, you know, be in Zoroastrian territory that has a cult center there, we can destroy it. And if you destroy that, that's basically free gold. That's what it is. It's just basically looting. That's what it does. Now, anyways, I think I've practically explained everything that there is to explain about these new features that came from the recent flavor packs. Although I know I haven't told much about the Volga Phoenix over there related to the Mordun flavor pack. I'll explain that in the next episode because that will be relevant soon. That will come soon, which I'll explain as we're, you know, a little bit running out of time, but I want to make a last few decisions, such as hold cord, which I'll do that in a moment. And finally, the next upcoming flavor pack is to be determined. As of this recording, Sabrix Khan has been giving out a few teasers. Like, you know how in this playthrough, as part of the North Sea flavor pack, that we've been doing this colonization of Greenland struggle? Well, he's currently working on another struggle in somewhere in the world. And based on the clues that he's given, some people are thinking it might be Pannonia or Wallachia or the Western Steppes somewhere. That's what it's indicating. But who knows? It could be somewhere entirely different. I mean, I haven't made any guesses myself of where it could happen. I mean, we don't know where. But it's something to keep your eyes on for those who follow the Rice mod. Congratulations, your first child. And it's a hunchback. Ugh. But it'll have to do. No, I must... screw it. I'm kind of hesitant for such things, because I know that one time of what happened. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of something else. Like, is there anything to talk about, like anything last-minute discussions for this episode? I mean, basically, this episode has been more informative, and then we'll get back to some real conquests and actions and all that in the next episode. But I think I covered most of the ground. But I know I have not discussed the features of the Mordvin flavor pack over there, as we didn't have time. As obviously the Iranian world is more interesting. Because, you know, possible ideas that I may do a playthrough somewhere in those lands. Possible idea, though I haven't really finalized. Thorun, named after my mother. Thorun Strongon. What else? Again, I've practically covered all the ground here, so we'll soon close the episode. So, again, I've returned to this series because I have plenty of unfinished business. And, oh yes, and I will reveal to you right now what is the purpose of continuing this playthrough. As you said, it's unfinished business. Well, one, I want to see through this to the end of what would happen when the struggle comes to an end, as we have not fulfilled any of those requirements. Even though obviously this is going to be harder than ever because we screwed up on the Vinland thing due to premature of establishing an outpost there, and then it failed almost instantly after establishing it. Well, now I have a new major goal set, and that will be for the next couple of episodes. But before I tell you that major goal, as I struggle to make out the tiny letters on the scroll before me, I feel a headache building once again. Why do scribes insist on writing on such small symbols? I squint to try it again. That discovered a miracle with the aid of the stone of glass. Even old men struggling with bad eyesight could read with ease. Oh, I got money to spend. Why the hell not? I need one of these stones. Again, we're going for crop rotation here. So my new major goal for this part of the series now will be to not only feudalize, which I know some of you are thinking, it's like, does that mean you're going to go for Christianization of Scandinavia? Not exactly. We're actually going to try to secure the High Kingdom of the North Sea. Yes, the North Sea, which is an empire title that could be created. And it changes the government to feudal when you do that. And you'll gain the High King of the Seas modifier, which I don't know if I'll live long enough for that. Maybe my successor will be the one to do so. And to do that, you've got to control Norway, which I do. You've got to have the title of Denmark and England. And you've got to hold each and every one of these titles for 30 years. That's the difficult part. And you've got to completely control the region of the North Sea heartlands, as outlined here. So this includes, you know, Norway, all of Denmark, and basically the entire eastern half of Britannia. Raid or trade. A disorderly horde of bandits, pirates, and other heavily armed scoundrels have entered Cornwall. Led by a man. What the At first my scouts thought them here to pillage, but an emissary from their father claims that they would be happily trade instead. Their force is rich in plunder, new and old. This will give locals a chance to buy exotic goods from across the world. The subtext is clear. Trade is under preferable terms that they would depart at peace, or reject their offer and they will take what they wish. An unexpected offer, but highly welcome. You know what? Let's trade. Cornwall will get raider trader links, so this county has benefited from amply trading with would-be raiders instead of fighting them. The wealthiest locals wearing exotic garb and trinkets ripped from foreign lands. So in other words, don't raid us, we'll trade with you. But in the next episode, I will not be raiding. No, we're going to go on the offensive here. So in fact, we're going to stop at the beginning of the new year and the great shade tree of Hordaland. A village in Hordaland has a giant tree that was planted many generations ago to provide shade for the villagers. It's something of a popular site for people to visit. Condro has visited several times and suggested that I could donate some funds to assist in caring for the tree. So, giant shade tree for 10 years, or spend some money on it and have that tree for 20 years. For as long as any county your domain has a giant shade tree county modifier, you'll have access to relax at the giant shade tree. In the middle of winter, where it's like, yeah, it's cold, but under the shade, even colder. Yeah, good idea with some of the funds. It's back under full control. And I'm quite stressed, and you know what? Let's do it. You can perform a horse sacrifice again, but... By the way, do not do that again. Attempt to build an outpost of Vinland. Never do that again. Now, in my territories is a well-known shade tree in one of the villages. I think it's time I visit it to see whether its reputation is well deserved. I'll travel to visit the famous shade tree in my domain to relax and lose stress. For context, shade trees are large trees that were planted with the purpose of providing shade under its canopy and crown, or happen to grow in a place where it becomes such a thing to people living nearby, which is a no-brainer. I can't wait to see it. To the tree. There is a great shade tree in the village in Hordaland. So great that even I, Tuge, decided it was worth my time to visit. The villagers were surprised, but flattered that I even considered their village worth visiting. They welcomed me with a little feast, various petty amusements like dances and their peasant songs. Afterwards, I came to the great shade tree. It was, to simply put, very big. Truly, one could fit members of an entire clan under it. I spent a couple of hours relaxing under it and had a good time. not good enough, I say. Because of my diligent trade, that's the reason why I don't lose too much stress as much as I would like to. Somebody wants to befriend me, huh? No, I gain a little bit of stress just for that. Okay, we will stop here as that old cabinet was destroyed. I don't know if this was dated back to the days of Astrid or my mother, Thorun. So we will end this timeline here, but we're actually going to make one last decision to... Oh, where is it? Hold court. Yes, that's it. Hold court. So let's end the episode by holding court. The monster Buddha. A haggardly looking peasant now stands before. My lord, I beg you for your help. A monster prowls in the mountains of Woodville, killing cattle and farmers alike. Few have seen it, but the mangled remains of its poor victims leave no doubt. It is clearly a huge boar. Not bear, boar. As bloodthirsty as the few have seen. Please, send your strongest son to save us from his orders, says Charles. A huge boar that kills cattle? That's a big pig. Knowing myself, I shall fell the beast myself. So apparently we're not going to end the episode like that. So, before me stands here, of God, they left the key. My lord, Sognsdal has been hit hard by a recent harsh winter. Hey, it's January, it's still harsh winter. The people are starving and our fields are not recovering, and our livestock is not enough to survive anymore. We beg you to intervene and save your devoted subjects for your great magnanimity. Bows Stephen falls silent. Well, of course, I got a lot of great money. Let me see. Get a weak hook on him. Tax relief. Or... yeah, my rival. I know the right person just to do the job. Hankering for Margartha. Doors are cast over by Jarl Leonardus. Essay on the half close mine. Leonardus points through. This bastard! Margartha visiting beckon on the slightest pretense to catch a glimpse of her. Set him straight! It is true. She's been haunting my dreams for weeks. Please, my liege. I don't know what to do with her. Oh, hell. Well, you are the loser. The woman is Leonardus, due to him having the lover's pox. Normally, this would be the end of the episode, what I just did after holding court, but no, it's not over yet. There's a great beast out there that needs to be slain. Where is that area again? Woodville. Let me find title. Okay. Woodville. Oh, it's up there. Okay. Up here. All preparations are completed. I sent out a selected group of guards to face the infamous monster that's been terrorizing the Woodville. It doesn't take us long to find it. A clear trail of blood leads us straight to the creature's abode. I was already informed of what to expect. When the massive boar silently stands in front of me, I can't help but shiver. 91% chance that I'll slaughter that monster and become a novice hunter. 8% chance that I get hurt, but 0% chance that I get killed. So face me, you foul beast! There, killed the monster. Now I'm a novice hunter. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we stop right here. As we take a closer look at the land where we found that big-ass pig and killed it. So, Again, this episode was a bit more informative of some of the changes and the new things that has come in recent updates ever since we last did the episode here. So now in the next episode, we will return to conquests for the North Sea Empire. That is the new goal. Form the North Sea Empire. So who knows if this will happen in this man's lifetime or under Torfi, which may happen under his rule. Or even Gunnar. One of these days, something's gotta give for the future of the Sognsdal dynasty as it will expand again. All that and more for the return of the Sognsdal Saga series as the saga continues. But until then, so long for now.